One of the local store owners made a call for me, and within 10 minutes, a really nice woman named Patty was there to give me a ride out of town to the middle of nowhere here, right where I left off.
Always find it a bit of a surreal feeling, you know, to just be dropped back off in the middle of nowhere. I spent 4 long days in Tonopah, placing a little bit of gear that got lost in one of those crazy bushwhacks coming down Willow Creek out of the Quinn Canyon range in the last segment. So I had shipped a new microphone for the camera and had to order some additional memory cards. Anyways, got my package today. Back out on trail here, walking out into the desert once again.
Yeah, and this section is going to be pretty epic. Most of the route on the Basin and Range Trail runs north and south, paralleling the mountain ranges. But you know, to make a loop out of it all, the southern leg of the route runs east to west and requires crossing 3 separate mountain ranges. If all goes well, I'll summit the high point of the Hot Creek, Monitor, and Toquima ranges, all here in the next few days.
So far, this whole segment from Highway 6 has all been off trail. It's in pretty deep sand. And here's an antler shed. It's pretty cool to find. Not much I can do with it. Just leave it right here where I found it. The sun has gone down over the mountains. Light is starting to fade for the night. It's time to start looking for camp. Head down there, there's like a low spot, a little bit of a depression, and maybe, just maybe, I'll find a little spot to get out of the wind, but I doubt it. And here's camp for tonight. First night cowboy camping on this trip in the shadows of Morey Peak there. Just really wide open here. There's really nothing for protection, so it's not that windy, but wind is one of those things that just really bothers me at night, you know, when the tent's just flapping around and stuff. I have a hard time sleeping, so I think I'll get a better night's sleep tonight if I just cowboy camp, and really looking forward to just camping out under the stars tonight. Cold night, 38 degrees this morning. My bag's only rated for 40. Man, what a place to wake up to. Not a single sign of human life, activity, development, anything. Jackrabbit. I kick up a couple of those a day out here in the desert. Just a lone wild horse right there. Got a bit of a corral up here, and looks like this guy didn't make it. You got this old water tank here. Everything looks pretty dry and empty. And that's Morey Peak up there, where I'm hopefully going to be headed later today. This is the Hot Creek Range. From afar, it doesn't really look like much, but now kind of at the base of it, it's pretty imposing, really. You see the true character of the mountains up close, you know.
What you're looking at here is an obscure piece of American history. This is called Project Faultless. The shaft was drilled 3,300 feet underground, and a nuclear device with a yield of 1 megaton, 67 times more powerful than the bomb dropped in Hiroshima, was detonated here in 1968. And the shaft was originally flush with the surface, but after the explosion, the ground sank 9 feet.
Mind blown. Really not much to look at, but the historical significance, you know?
Well, I think it makes sense to eat lunch here in the shadow of this atomic bomb tube going down into the earth. It just makes sense, you know?
And then you got this locked red box on a fairly new cement slab. Just gotta wonder what that's all about. I would imagine some sort of monitoring site to kind of monitor the radiation and just all the damage it did underground. You really gotta wonder why they would want to drop a nuclear bomb 3,000 feet underground. Summiting control. There's all sorts of weird stuff around here. I'm at 6,000 feet down here. I got about a 4,000 foot plus climb. Get up to the top of Morey up there. It's always hard, right out of town. Heavy pack, full water, 6 days of food. It's a bit of a milestone here. This is the first tree I've seen in several days because I've been crossing all these basins. And just like that, basically out of the desert, coming into these trees, and it's pretty rocky now, and it's headed up into the mountains. So I think these mountains are going to be pretty rugged. It's pretty easy to underestimate these mountains, especially from afar. You get up close and you realize what you got yourself into. I think this is going to be another one of those cases. The map marks this as a 4x4 road. It goes most of the way up to the mountain, and I mean, I've barely even begun to climb it, and it's already pretty much gone. We got a flowing creek here. A little surprised to find it, but you kind of see all the green along it, and it's probably why it's so thick along this four-wheel drive road. Just entering Morey Canyon. Again, was not expecting anything so green or water so brown, thanks to all the cows. Man, such a horrible smell for such a beautiful area. We got remnants of an old mining camp here. Not really much left for me to explore. You can see all the tailings from these mines. All these piles of debris that came out of the mines. You can see some old buildings up there, probably part of an old mining camp as well.
The boom and bust of Nevada's mining past has left all these old cabins, mining camps, and ghost towns. It's kind of hard to walk by without exploring for at least a couple minutes.
And if anywhere there was a place for rattlesnakes to hide, I think this would be it. Still haven't seen one on this entire trip. Bring you down the roof in this room. Hard to believe any of this is still intact, but cool little piece of history though. Wonder what the story is behind it. This is a little creepy. because it almost looks like it's been used not all that long ago. Please enjoy, don't destroy. Strategic Beer Command, Operation Buster Jangle, Sailor Jerry, Hunter Otteson, Trenton Otteson. Ottesons are a big name in the Tonopah area. I believe they own some of the turquoise mines. And there's a dead mouse in here. The old cellar here. It's more of an open floor plan these days. There's a little shack here. Quite a few of them actually in this canyon. This is Morey Canyon. Clearly a lot of old mining history. I really think I want to go in this one. This one's looking a little unstable. The wall getting blown out here on this side and not really much to see anyway. So I found this little green pasture here right off the road. There's a trickle of water flowing through it and I'd like to get to it, but unfortunately it's kind of heavily guarded by these thorn bushes here. Got this really nice pool to draw from. It's pretty small, but it'll do. Well, the platypus bag I'm using with my Sawyer filter sprung a leak right here on the bottom. Kind of a bad place, right in that seam. I'd like to repair this bag though and try and get a little bit more mileage out of it. Got a couple of different types of patches, but I'm going to try and use a little piece of my Dyneema patch for my tent. Man, this is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I was not expecting this. I'm just absolutely mesmerized by this place. I just can't get over it. The road just kind of dead-ended into this, and up over this little pass here is Sixmile Canyon. Wow. Man, I could just spend all day up here. Well, I'm in luck. There actually is a bit of a trail or road or whatever running along this hillside, at least to this like little saddle area over here. And I mean, none of these roads were on the map. None of these roads or trails, so really pleasant surprise. And here's camp for tonight. A little ways to go to Morey Peak tomorrow morning. And just another absolutely amazing morning. I can actually see where I've come from the last several days. There's a peak way off in the distance, the tallest one, and you could probably barely see it, but I think that's Wheeler Peak in Great Basin National Park. And I know that was 100 air miles away when I was on the ridge in the Grant Range, so it's got to be 140 miles away from here. And then over here is Morey Peak where I'm going, so I'm going to summit that peak. And my beautiful campsite down here. And one thing I've learned about Nevada is that it's hard to find a campsite, but man, when you do, like every campsite I've had has just been amazing. All right, Morey, I'm coming for you. I'm on the final ridge line now to Morey. So it's Morey Peak right there. And then I believe the preferred route is like that little chute in between the two rock faces there. Shaky, shaky. If you climb up this, just won't be that fun coming down. You gotta test all these handholds. A lot of this stuff's loose.
This is Morey Peak, high point of the Hot Creek Range at 10,246 feet.
Whoa! I love the desert. I love, you know, the rivers and canyons and forests, but nothing beats the mountains. Absolutely nothing. I'm actually heading directly west from here is my route. I'm gonna follow a route down on the right of that and work my way down into Sixmile Canyon down there. And now the fun part, getting down off this thing. So really all I gotta do is just kind of down climb this thing, get to that saddle, and I'm gonna work my way down this hillside here. Yep. Watch your footing. Yeah, this is looking good. Don't speak too soon. Oh, not that one. So you gotta watch all these handholds here. You can't trust anything. Yeah, all right. Oh yeah. It's gonna be fun. Sometimes the best method with these loose rock is just to do like a controlled slide. Just dig your heels in and just kind of go with it. And you get a feet full of sand with it. Whee! And that's how it's done. All right, and this is the next challenge here. I have to make my way down this this little canyon. I was hoping this canyon wouldn't be so thick, but got to drop 2,000 feet down through this, so today's going to be a hard day. At least I had Morey Peak this morning. Well, this is manageable. If it stays like this, I can deal with it. It's starting to get a bit cliffy over here, so I'm going to try another way. Try over this little hump here. Yeah, well, that'll have to do. It's going to take all afternoon to get down this thing. I just came down from this, and now I really need to like contour around the hillside this way. And that just looks completely horrible. And going down looks completely horrible. Fuck this, man. Fuck this. Seriously. God damn it. Fuck. All that for like 10 feet. Oh my God.
And in some cases, there really just is no other way. If you want to connect point A to point B, you know, you're just going to have to put up with a short section of the worst hiking of your life.
God damn it. I just don't have any choice but to go through this shit. If I can get to this little saddle like a quarter mile away, I think I can get up on top of a ridge line and maybe avoid this shit, but I don't have any other choice. I just made it through the most brutal bushwhack imaginable. Just the densest possible brush. So I've emerged into this little clearing. The saddle I want to reach is there. I'll see what's on the other side and see what's next. Yeah, and that patch of green there is what I came across. It came down where you can see like the open area of orange, and then I just worked my way across this hillside. I will say it's definitely possible to complete the route, but I'm just not sure how many people would actually go for this kind of thing. Anyways, the ridgeline is the route I'm going to take, then I'm going to have to find a way down off the ridgeline down into the canyon. Supposedly there's a four-wheel drive road in that canyon as well, but as in the case of Willow Creek, I do not trust the map. Whoops. Now finally down off that ridge line, hit the little 4x4 road, and time to head back uphill. But at least I'm on a road, get a little bit of break from all the bushwhacking and ridge walking stuff, and just get a little time to kind of collect my thoughts before I do it all over again. There's a look back up at the Morey Peak Wilderness and the whole ridge line that I walked this morning and last night. Up in that little notch, it's where I was last night, that spot I was really impressed with. And I could have made my way down here in minutes, you know, 20 minutes, and cut off a whole day of hiking. But the summit of Morey Peak was just awesome. And there's like 6 or 7 wild horses up there. Got a little baby. There's about 4 or 5 more horses over there. They see me or smell me. They're kind of giving me the stare down. And here's a just giant pile of hair. We got a little bit of a spring here. Just kind of coming out of the, you can kind of see it coming out of the ground there. This is pretty stagnant, but there is some water coming out there. I'm almost up this canyon here. It's an unnamed canyon on my map. Very, very lush by Nevada standards. Crested the pass and view on the other side.
And now I'm entering the Fandango Wilderness Study Area.
Been seeing a lot of horses really in the Sixmile Canyon area. And when they saw me, they ran up over this pass, down this canyon. I'm really surprised how green this is. You know, this is actually a really dry year for Nevada, and even still, it's pretty green. And another four or five horses over there. Probably makes 15 or 20 on the day. These guys are just everywhere. Wait for all that shit to clear out now. Well, the last bit of light's just fading over the hills now. Time to look for a campsite. And the 4x4 road I've been following for a little while has abruptly disappeared. And that's largely why I stopped where I did last night, because I didn't want to get trapped in the box canyon, I think, that's coming up here in Little Cow Canyon. So probably a good decision to camp where I did, but that leaves me the bushwhack this morning. Oh, and just like that, it's a little creek that flows into this this creek bed that I'm walking. So Nevada's just full of surprises, and you know, I don't want to be overconfident or anything, but you know, it really makes you feel good when you come out to a place like this without any knowledge of anything, and you do your research, you do your planning. I looked at all the satellite photos, make sure water would be there, and it is. You know, there's definitely a couple sections of this trail that I'm still worried about, but for now I'm feeling pretty good, pretty confident, and just really glad I took the chance to come out here and see this amazing place. And it looks like a horse skull, and he's been here a long time. Box canyons like this can be one of the most difficult types of terrain to work through, but just absolutely awesome. You know, you really feel like you just stumbled on some sort of like lost world, you know. Oh, thorn bushes. Oh. And this, though, is one of the dangers, I suppose, of box canyons, is that oftentimes you run into pour-offs, dry waterfall, and this one is no big deal. I can just climb down it, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes it gets funneled into a 40-foot death drop. And if you don't have climbing gear, I mean, you're just screwed. Oh, this rock's a bit slippery. Oh yeah, that's like slick. It is not a foothold. And we get another pour off here. And the canyon is opened up. No longer a box canyon, and more of just a regular canyon at this point. Absolutely disgusting. It's just a big pile of shit right there, and you can just see it dripping down. So whatever it is living up there and up in that little cubby hole. Ugh. So the canyon's really opening up now, and this is actually the first real good view of the monitor range. Doesn't really look all that far away. And there were a couple 4x4 roads that quickly kind of faded out, and a few horse paths and, you know, game trails and stuff, but nothing you can really follow for any length of time. So once again, it's cross country through sagebrush.
Well, the Hot Creek Range has been good to me. Everything except that bushwhack coming down off Morey Peak. But now it's time to move on and cross Little Fish Lake Valley.
And I know there's a strip of private land that just runs all the way through the center of this valley, so I'm gonna have to walk through it. But hopefully this road is considered a public road. Hopefully they don't mind. Well, unfortunately, they looks like they have the road gated off, so I'm gonna have to walk a couple of miles along this fence line in this sand until I find the end of the property and I can cross it. It's gonna be a long walk. This fence line is just miles and miles and miles long. This is Rancho, it's the whole damn valley. Well, I've been following this fence line for about an hour and a half now. And man, these guys own a lot of property. I mean, I can't even see where I started from. Just beyond a couple of those hills. Waiting for a break in this fence line so I can cross the valley. I just made my way across the valley. Got over another hill, and that fence line just kept running as far as the eye can see. And ain't nobody got time for that. Well, I don't. So, went over the fence, quickly crossed the field, and crossed the main road that runs through the valley. Either way, glad to be across that valley. And now heading into the monitor range. Can you spot the spring? There's a spring hiding in these hills. All right, cow, don't give it away for me now. You see those stands of aspens over there, glowing neon green like they're radioactive. The stupid cow literally just charged me. cow literally ran at me from 50 yards away. Kind of thought he was a dog for a moment, like just a big dog. It's kind of creepy. It's this abandoned cabin out here in the middle of the woods. Only came over here because there was a spring on the map. Hello? Anyone home? Something blocking the door. I guess this is one of those old like cabins. It's on public land. It's like gifted to the BLM or National Forest land or whatever. Creek is all dry as expected. Got like 3 springs marked on the map between here and the top of the mountain, and all those I had marked dry from my research. I've got 1 liter of water on me. No luck at spring number 1. Well, found some water here. This is not on the map. I didn't see a spring. It's a pleasant surprise. My mouth is actually pretty dry. Oh yeah. She ain't much, but maybe I'll follow it upstream, see if I can find a deeper pool. Took about a 45-minute break at the creek back there and feeling a little bit better, but to be honest, kind of got a headache, and I don't know, it's not that hot today. I just kind of feel like the heat's getting to me a bit. So we got about 2 or 3 more miles, I think, before this road just kind of dead ends, and then from there it's like a 2,000-foot climb straight up this mountain with no trail or anything. So it kind of makes sense to just stop a bit early tonight at the base of the climb, tackle that in the morning. Hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better. Well, the road I'm following kind of ends here, and I mean, it continues on, but this is not a good sign. Probably the beginning of a bushwhack, if anything else. And absolutely majestic. Well, time to make camp. Just gotta clean the cow shit out of the way. Last night I had some sort of animal stomping around pretty close to my tent. It woke me up. I can only assume it was a deer or elk or horse or something. Either way, that was kind of the first real like nighttime animal encounter I've had on this trip. Whoa. Gotta watch those prickly pears. Cow literally shit in the bushes. Go to walk through this shrub and there's shit knee high. Been seeing a lot of prickly pear cactus now. Really got to watch out for these guys. Today is June 21st, summer solstice, first day of summer. I absolutely love the summer. It's my favorite time of year. And on the other hand, I really don't care for winter, to put it lightly. Where I live in Michigan, it's gray and cloudy and cold and dark for a really long time, and it's just really, really depressing. So this is the polar opposite of that, you know? It's the longest day of the year, the most sunshine. You do so much, get so much done. So you got this hill here in the foreground. I'm gonna follow that to about there and then work my way up to about there and get on top of the ridgeline. So it's funny because my map shows a trail, Clover Creek Trail. Trail number 24052. First of all, you can count the number of trails in Nevada on one hand. Secondly, of course, there is no trail. I don't know if you can hear that. That's a rattlesnake. It's my first rattler. He's hiding right there under that bush. Man, I stepped on a 1,000 bushes just like that. Even up here at these altitudes, I'm a little shy of 10,000 feet. And every time I think I'm almost there, get to the top of the little ridge, it's another false summit, and more trees to go through, more boulders.
After a 2,000-foot bushwhack, I've reached the crest of the Monitor Range.
Woo! Take that, Clover Creek. So this is the crest of the Monitor Range. This part is called the Table Mountain Wilderness for pretty obvious reasons. It's really, really flat. So I should have fairly easy walking on this nice ridge all day.
And this is probably my favorite kind of hiking right here. Walking along the edge of a huge drop-off with 100-mile views. It's moments like these that just make it all worth it.
These kind of summits are always a little bit weird to me. Just so flat, but yet you can't see anything else except just this flat horizon, you know? And first real view of the west side of the Monitor Range here. And that'll be Monitor Valley down there in the Toquima Range. Man, just incredible.
And to me, coming out to these kind of places is a reminder to make every day count. If you don't live life today, you probably won't live it tomorrow either. Out here, every day is fulfilling, even if it feels meaningless on the grand scale of things. I'm not sure where else one finds that kind of peace.
Danville Peak, 10,888 feet, the highest point in the monitor range. Dropping down off the crest now. I'm gonna find my way down into this valley. I'm thinking I'm gonna follow this ridge line, which is also gonna be kind of steep, but I'm thinking the other side will have less trees. Well, so far it's been working out, avoiding all these trees on this side. This is the north here. Vegetation grows a bit heavier over here, a little bit less heavy on the south. Well, I really don't want anything to do with a bushwhack through this. That just looks insane. I've already done a couple of those. I don't ever want to do it again. So I'm following a game trail because even the animals don't want to go through that shit. For once, a trail that was marked on the map exists, and it's not even overgrown. Well, I finally found a little side trail that worked its way down here to Mosquito Creek. Unfortunately, the creek bed here is it's damp, but it's dry, you know, no water. I know there's water further up the stream. I just don't feel like backtracking. So I'm gonna roll the dice. Gambling man at it again. Pretty thirsty. I think I drank 3 liters today. Got maybe a quarter of a liter left right now. And I'm ready for water. Yeah, and that's the hillside I came down from the crest of the monitor range. Like, looking at it from here, there's no way I would say, you know what, that's my route, I'm going up. There's a buck right there. The spring I was shooting for didn't work out, so I walked a ways off trail, found another spring, and this is it. Just need to figure out a way to collect from it. Oh, 2 massive elk. Oh, that was nuts. Man, I tell you what, I feel like $1 million now. A little food in my stomach, a little bit of water. I feel great. Sun low in the sky. Well, the prospects of finding a decent campsite before dark are looking pretty grim. None of it looks good, so I'm just gonna head for like down over there and see if I can find a spot under one of those trees or something. Unfortunately, I had to keep climbing uphill, basically back up on the ridge, the crest of the monitor range again. I probably should have camped where that spring was, because that was like a nice little green pasture, but gambling man lost tonight.
Well, if I'm honest, I'm feeling a little rough this morning. I hiked 14 hours yesterday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and I'm feeling it this morning. Got a bit of a headache, really thirsty. I've got a little bit of water, but of course I'm trying to ration it a little bit. So the mountain range here runs north and south, and then a lot of these trails I found run parallel to the crest of the range. They run north and south as well. There's just no east-west running trails that take you like directly off the mountain. So I'm in a bit of a bind, really. I'm gonna have to go backtrack a little bit, and I was hoping to be in Carvers at Round Mountain tomorrow. Today's gonna be a make or break day, really.
And that little tiny clearing is where I put my tent last night. And I had to clear out some sagebrush just to make even that size for my tent. And you know, you'd think that this is like a legitimate trail, but because I'm on a pass, this little saddle here, this is just you know, a game thoroughfare. This is a game trail. And you come down this hill, and this trail fades quick. I couldn't find it last night. I'm gonna give it one more shot. If I can find a solid trail, yeah, I guess I'll follow it. But there's no way in hell I'm bushwhacking 2,000 feet through that. My map shows I'm right on this trail, but there's nothing here. Wait until it gets steep, like really steep, and then try and, you know, push your way through this brush like for 2,000 feet. Oh. All right, new plan. Instead of wandering around aimlessly looking for trails that probably don't exist in the first place, probably don't go anywhere, I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of generally head downhill the path of least resistance. And every now and then you pick up on a game trail. And I'll tell you what, animals, they're essentially pretty lazy, you know. They want to follow the path of least resistance too. They don't want to bushwhack. So they've got their own little network of trails, and they lead up and downhill. So I'm gonna try and just follow those where I can. So after bushwhacking for about a half hour, I've just come across the most obvious game trail yet. And it was pretty obvious that it was leading downhill and towards a spring. And sure enough, you can hear the sound of flowing water. Yeah, she ain't much. Oh man, she ain't much, that's for sure. Nice obvious path over here too. So these game trails go somewhere, you know. So what I did was ripped out all of the vegetation, and I took a few rocks and I kind of shored up, made a little dam here, started digging this out a little bit. And then of course you get water that kind of wants to flow through the cracks. So what you do is you get the fine stuff from the bottom, and you use that to kind of like block up the holes. And after, you know, a minute or two, you've got nice, clean, clear water to dip your bottle into. Pro tip. So leaving that spring I found, I'm now on an actual trail. And it's actually running parallel to the trail that I wanted to hike earlier this morning and last night, the one I was looking for. So it leads me to believe that it was just mismarked on the map, or moved at some point. And on the ground I can see horseshoe marks, so there's been people here on horseback. So I think there's a good chance this trail is going to lead me all the way down to the valley floor, which is excellent news. And things are opening up now. That's Monitor Valley down there. This trail is literally going to save me hours of time and just bypass, you know, untold amounts of you know, pain and suffering bushwhacking. And I was led to believe that the trail system in the Toquima Range over there is actually pretty decent. So if it is, there's a chance I can still reach town by tomorrow night. And every now and then I just stop and just kind of find myself in awe of such a, you know, huge wide open space. You know, back home in Michigan, you know, we don't have anything like this. There's no elevated view. You know, all you see is maybe a quarter mile at a time, and you're just kind of like in the trees and in your own little local bubble. But you come out here, out west, and you just, at least that's how I feel. I just feel like I'm a part of something larger. Solid advice. Thank you, sign, for all your wisdom. But I'm wondering, where are all the bullet holes? So I've got about an 11-mile walk until I get to the other side over there. I was really surprised to see this giant water obstacle here. And here's like an old bridge or something. It's pretty much the only place to get out of the sun. So I might take a quick break here. Howdy.
Oh, we're in the middle of nowhere.
I sure am, and I like it that way.
You know Plains home?
I'm from Michigan. I'm just walking across Nevada here. I came from Lunar Crater 4 days ago, and I'm headed to Carvers, so I'm heading up over Mt Jefferson and all that.
I say it's a lot different up there than it is down here.
Oh yeah, just the contrast, man. You go through all these different, you know, vegetation zones and...
Well, have a good trip.
Yep, I will. Take care. How's it going?
Out for a jaunt.
You could say that. Little 1,100 mile hike across Nevada.
Oh, really? Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Damn. Nice.
Right on, man.
Thanks.
This is just where you're at, huh?
Uh,
Are you heading to Bishop?
no. Actually, I'm doing a loop.
Oh, you are?
So I started in Ely, and I'm just doing a big loop.
Wow, cool, man. You're heading up to the creek and fill up the water, huh?
Yeah, that's the plan. Wash up a little bit, and
Yeah, no one's up there.
no one's anywhere.
It's great. Do you need anything?
Not unless you get a cheeseburger or something.
Some cheeseburgers.
That sounds good.
We got some cold water if you want some.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Take care.
Good luck. Yeah, you too.
And this is the Pine Creek Campground. It's actually the largest creek I've come across yet. So now I'm heading out into the Toquima Range. And the highest peak here is Mt Jefferson, which is like 11,900 feet. 247 now. I'd really like to make it up to the top of the crest today. It's about 7 or 8 miles and about 4,000 feet of elevation gain. And we've even got a stream crossing. Oh wow, there's actually like a little mini cascade here. And I just can't believe all the water here. Man, is it thick. I love this place already. I haven't even been up into the high country. I already love it. Well, this one's gonna be fun. We got a roller. It rolled. Oh. That one rolled. Okay. Don't worry, camera. I haven't forgotten you. Man, this place is incredible. Yeah, I was just about to complain that the trails aren't marked that well, or at all. And then I remembered I have a trail.
My original plan was to take the North Summit Jefferson Trail to the crest, which would allow for a longer walk of the ridgeline, but I couldn't find the trail at the junction a while back. It's pretty hard to leave this good trail for a bushwhack right now, so I'm just going to stay on this.
Even the Alta Toquima Wilderness is not safe from cows. Yes, bird, I hear you. Damn. Got like maybe a mile and a half left to go up to the ridge line below the summit of Mt Jefferson. And the last 2,000 feet of elevation gain have been at a rate of 1,000 feet per mile, so it's been a tough climb. So here's the dilemma. This is pretty much the last spot to camp, I believe. There's probably nowhere to camp up there. It's probably just all rocks, and it's probably going to be windy. So do I gamble and go for it, or do I play it smart and camp down here? Man, you got to be kidding me. Cow shit, even up here at 11,000 feet. That is just so wrong. Well, I decided to play it safe and just camp here, a couple hundred feet below the ridgeline. Pretty awesome spot, can't complain. I'm set up great for tomorrow. It's the smart thing to do. I know if I get up there, I'll probably just have a crappy campsite. I'll tell you what, that's a long way to walk from the top of that range all the way to the top of this range in one day. That's still an R to R, range to range. I was on the very top of that range on a saddle where I camped. Man, this has got a Colorado vibe to it, upper basin like this. Well, today's day 7 since I got dropped off at Lunar Crater. I should be able to get into Carvers today. Got about maybe 22 miles to go. Gotta say, feels like I've been out here for a month. Every day just kind of seems like an eternity. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes not so much. Oh look, a nipple. Yeah, you wouldn't believe how many little peaks like this are actually called nipples when you look at the map. Susie's nipple, Jane's nipple. I get it. I can see the resemblance. Next up, Mt Jefferson, South Summit. The South Summit is the tallest in the Toquima Range, 11,900 feet. So I don't really see any cairns now marking the way up, so I think it's gonna be on my own to find a path up this bad boy. So it's a bit surprising to me, you know, getting to the top of these mountains and it's just so flat. Still not at the true summit yet. Got a little ways to go. In fact, I can see the summit marker way over there in the distance, kind of by that snow patch. But this is a pretty nice view on its own. It's basically the final push up to the summit. Okay, I lied. Summit's up there. It's always another false summit to summit. And one thing I always forget about hiking at high elevations is all the bugs. I just can't believe it. There's so many like little gnats and flies and stuff up here. It's nuts. Like, what do they eat? Why are you here? Well, this is no false summit this time. This is the real deal. Got a couple shelters up here. This one kind of looks like an ice shanty. Whoa, let out the flies, damn. And there's nothing in here. Just a bunch of flies. No wonder it was unlocked. This one probably replaced the other one over there. That's why this one's locked. Ooh, damage to the solar panel. So this is it, Mt Jefferson, 11,941 feet, highest point of the Toquima Range. Woo! So 3 high points of 3 different ranges in 5 days. Not too bad, not too shabby. But I still got like 20 miles to get into town. So I think it's time to head down off this mountain and get away from these fucking flies. So I'm gonna follow this ridge line all the way down here, down through that canyon, into the valley, and into Carvers. Kind of glad to be getting off this summit. It's a lot of flies, man. They just won't leave me alone. It's bizarre. Just to come out all the way up here, you know, and you think they'd be in the creek or, you know, down by the water. But I'm down off the summit of Jefferson now. Still have some pretty rough terrain here to go. Kind of feel like I should probably be using my trekking poles right here. So what's the difference between a hobby and a passion? I think everybody has a hobby. I like to fish. Fishing is one of my favorite hobbies. It's not a passion. You know, I think one of the things that separates a hobby from a passion is emotion. You can go out and catch, you know, 20 fish and I'm happy, but you know, doesn't inspire deep emotion, you know. You come out here and you do this, and the things you see, the places you've been, things you've endured, near-death experiences, personal accomplishments. It's a deep emotion that you never forget. I don't think everybody has a passion, which is unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because it's just like such a strong part of your life that, you know, you wish other people could understand and join you. You know, I think when you have a passion, you truly believe in it, you know. Like every time I come out here, walk away from it with a new you know, perspective on life. Can't really say that about fishing.
Well, it's late morning now and I have about 22 miles to go before I reach town this evening. It's basically all downhill from here, and it's a great walk. And for me, the day I reach town, I always feel just great. It's a bit of a high, really, returning from an adventure, scathed or unscathed. And I'm feeling it now, just the thought of a hot meal, a shower, and a bed really sweeten the deal. And these puffy white clouds are some of the first I've seen along this trip. It's mostly been just bluebird skies all day, every day. I'll take the shade and the play of shadows on the mountains.
This is a road. I can't imagine many people driving this. Yep, added a couple rocks here. 4x4 road, they don't mind, right? This adds to the challenge of the drive. Woohoo, feet stay dry.
So now I'm walking into Jefferson, an old ghost town. The town was founded in 1866 after gold was discovered. Mining started in 1871. The town took off in 1874 after a town site was planned out.
And this old abandoned building seems like the obvious spot to take a break. Tell you what, it's nice and cool in here. Skylight. So I think I'll take a break in the little stone house and filter a liter or two of fresh water. And my other water here is pretty hot from just like being in the sun, so I like to put it in the creek and let that cool off. Works pretty well. I don't like drinking warm water. Filtering water, my favorite.
Jefferson had general stores, 3 blacksmith shops, 3 barbershop restaurants, and by 1876, Jefferson had a population of around 800.
Yep. She's no longer standing.
But by 1878, both mills shut down and the town was abandoned. And that's when the ghost took over.
There's gold in them there hills. Or there was. They even had a fireplace. Hey, lizard. Oh, and he's got a giant bee in his mouth. Yeah, you got to have a lot of respect for people of the day, you know, that built all this stuff. You know, they literally knew how to do everything. They made their own clothes, built their own houses, farmed their own food, and, you know, they knew how to get through the winter. And then look at this view. Yeah, another house down here, another one up here. And Nevada's known for its boom and bust. Little towns that pop up. Might have even had a couple thousand people. Now they're just ghost towns. Oh man, it's a stampede of beef. The best kind of stampede. Walking along these willows here, the creek, and I hear branches starting to break, and I'm thinking, okay, it's a couple elk or something. But of course, it's our bovine friends. Another little house. Tell you what, walking through a canyon like this, it's like walking back in time. Well, howdy, fellas. Taking refuge in the old 1800 shelter, are we? Well, look at the architecture on this one. Man, what a step up in quality from the ones back there. This must have been like the head miner's house or something. Honestly, the stonework looks similar to what's in style today. You know, there's an entrance to old mine. This one's blocked off. It's too bad because I'd go in there. Yeah. Man, just look at the angle of that rock. Upheaval. Man, I don't know if you can see it, but that rock right there in the middle of the frame, just the way it's like curled. I mean, it's like a solid half circle, the way that's curled. Just imagine the forces that created that, you know? There's a lot going on here, you know, geologically. And I guess the conditions were also good enough to form gems and minerals that, you know, were worth mining. Tell you what, it's a lot hotter down here in this valley than it was in Monitor Valley yesterday. Whew. Really feeling the heat now that I'm down on the valley floor. Almost down there in the valley. This one's called Big Smokey Valley. It's about 5,700 feet elevation at Round Mountain. That is one imposing wall of mountain right there, 6,000 feet straight up out of the valley. One last look at Mt Jefferson. Man, just the way the light is shining on her, so pretty. And that's Round Mountain right there. Guess they're taking a lot of gold out of there. And whenever that stops, you can bet it's gonna go the same way as the rest of the boom and bust towns in Nevada did, and maybe Round Mountain will disappear. But for now, she's booming. I just walked all the way out of the Toquima Range here and walking my line to Carvers, which is right here, and there's a barbed wire fence. So basically the gold mine over here has their area blocked off, everything's fenced off. They have this culvert, and for some reason this is not fenced off. So you can go in this culvert, walk under the tunnel, and continue on land on the other side. Places I find myself. Alright. RMGC plan of operation. Yeah, whatever. I plan to go this way. I plan to go to Carvers. And that's the town of Carvers over there in the distance. Maybe only a mile or two off now. And that marks the end of Section 3 on the Basin and Range Trail. And I walk away with this section with a further appreciation for the beauty and difficulty of Nevada. I guess I'll go this way. Ah!
Thanks for watching. I hope I've earned your subscription and a thumbs up. Visit basinandrangetrail.com for official maps and guidebook, follow Seeking Lost on social media, and consider lending your support on Patreon if you would like to see more quality outdoor content.